Well, doctors often warn patients to avoid internet searches of their medical conditions because there's so much junk science out there can actually instill more fear and worry. Lots of us are guilty of that. We go home from the doctor, we go online, we start doing internet searches for what we may have or what we think we may have, and we get even more scared. But there are some sites that do provide some good resources. And here to talk more about it, Boston Globe health blogger Deborah Kotz. Hi, Deb. Happy holiday.
Hi there, Lori. Thanks, same to you.
So you've just written an article about this, that there are some actual sites that are reliable and you can get some legitimately good information.
Yes, there are some really good sites. First of all, there are sites that people already know about. When you get a cancer diagnosis, that unfortunate event of that, you can go on the American Cancer Society's website. The National Cancer Institute has the website. Those are reliable sources. Anytime you have other kinds of conditions, the American Heart Association has a website, and these are things that tend to be, they always have a component that's aimed at consumers. The problem with these sites, though, is that there's so much information to wade through. So often people get frustrated. You may have a very specific question, a specific type of diagnosis, trying to figure out what treatment may be best for that particular condition with your age, other kinds of factors that may be involved. So there's a new free website out there called Medivizor, Medivizor, Medivizor.com, that is a free site for people who have, and it's very specific. If you've got, 5 of the most common kinds of cancers like colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, if you have heart disease, if you have diabetes, or have fertility, this site can be great because basically what it does is it asks you to fill in specific things about yourself, your age, your gender, how much you weigh, your specific diagnosis, anything that can be, that the doctor may have told you that can be specific to your condition. And then there's an algorithm that the developers built that will take those answers that you put in and will find there's very specific information tailored to your diagnosis. So they may find journal articles, or they may find and give you a summary in a very simplistic form that tells you what are the treatments to consider and what are some caveats with some of the studies out there.
Now, is it a good way to actually get information that could help us make decisions and not maybe be bothering our doctors every 5 minutes every time we're worried about whatever our diagnosis may be?
Well, I think that what they're hoping, and I think what doctors hope, there are some doctors that I spoke to who do recommend it to patients with those kinds of conditions. I think what they're hoping is that patients will take this information and bring it to their doctor, because a lot of times doctors don't necessarily know all of the new research out there. They may not have read every journal article. They certainly try to keep up to date, but certainly a general practitioner cannot be expected to be an expert in all these areas. So I think the hope is that you would do this search. The material is written by other physicians, so it is considered to be a fairly reliable website. And you would bring this information to your doctor and say, hey, what do you think about this new study? Do you think this treatment could be right for me? And does this answer some of the questions that we've been having? So right. I think that doctors, and it really all depends on the patient as well, because, some doctors also are concerned that some people may be going on sites and really getting too much information and reading too many scary statistics and really alarming themselves when a lot of times they may not exactly have what the worst case scenario that they may be reading about on the website.
And Deb, give us that website one more time for folks out there that may want to check it out.
Sure. It's about a year old. It's called Medivizor.com, Medivizor.com. There's also another website called UpToDate.com that covers a wide range of medical conditions, not just the cancers and diabetes that I talked about from Medivizor. That does cost money, though. It can be a considerable amount of money. You're paying about, I think, $30 to $50 a month. But if you have a very serious condition, it also does the research for you as well and can give you some articles and insights that you can bring to your doctor.
All right. We appreciate it. Deborah Kotz, Boston Globe health blogger. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
1225.
Your money at 25 and 55 on WTOP.